Tonight, we're learning what it's like to live with dementia. 1 in 3 of us is affected by it, and we meet a man who's happy to share his experience with school children.
Obviously they have dementia, but that doesn't really matter. I just like them as a person. There's more to the person than dementia.
But we'll be with John as he helps educate children about the condition. Good evening. It's the disease which doesn't discriminate. Wherever you're watching us tonight and whoever you're watching with, dementia isn't too far away. 1 in 3 of us will develop it. Some of us may find us caring for a loved one just when we thought we'd be taking life a little easier. Well, one thing's for sure, we could all benefit from knowing a bit more about it.
So, welcome to the channel. About dementia. Now then, so I have a diagnosis of, let me get this right, frontotemporal primary progressive aphasia, and mine is the speech variant one, although having said that, there are so far nearly 200 types of dementia been found or discovered, all variants of certain things. So what exactly is dementia? So over the next few days, hopefully I'll do some filming and videoing and add in some clips and things from past videos and other bits and pieces, and we'll be trying to open my heart and my mind about my own personal diagnosing, and also potentially what others, what you guys might be scared of, frightened of, because it is a big scare and a big worry. Anyway, so I'll just start with that. I'm going to try and explain to you guys out there mainly what dementia isn't. But before I tell you what it isn't, I have to explain to you what it is, because some of you might not even know. You know, you've had a diagnosis of something who said, oh, you've got Alzheimer's or Lewy bodies or frontotemporal or something like that. But do you really know what it is and what your likely prognosis is going to be? How long you're going to live for? That's the first thing I search for, I know that. And it does send you into a very dark place, like, you know, with you, your family, your thoughts, and, you know, you lose sleep, all sorts of things happen. But I mean, I'm here just to tell my side of the story. I have made something of my dementia. I've sort of accepted that that's what it is, but it's not for everybody how I feel about my own life and the dementia in it. But I'll explain all that anyway in the videos coming up. It's quite a devastating thing when you're actually told, you know, point blank, face to your face, that, you know, they've took the question mark away after all the scans and blood tests and lumbar punctures and all sorts of examinations and things like that, that yes, you do have dementia, John, sorry to say. And so that immediately pours you into a bucket of worry, like, you know. But I've learnt in the years that I've had since the diagnosis of lots of things that dementia actually isn't, and I'll be telling you what those are to relieve the worries about certain things anyway, or at least to give you an update and be truthful about, you know, what to maybe expect from your own life and your own dementia, or your cared for or loved ones' dementia, what you might be expecting as a carer or husband, wife or partner, whatever. So my dementia diagnosis came originally because I was a handyman. I started forgetting my tools. I basically, in a nutshell, I went home one day for some tools, and my wife informed me I'd already been back 2 or 3 times that morning for the same tools, and I had no recollection of it. So I knew there was something going on. It was very puzzling, and my wife obviously I'd noticed other things as well. So we came to the conclusion it was time to go see the doc. So we saw the doctor, and she said, Yes, there's something definitely going on. I can't tell you personally 100% what it is. I think it's maybe a type of dementia, or MCI, more cognitive interference. But what she did say was to send me to a memory clinic where there were specialists, consultants, those brainy people who could look at, scan and do the tests and stuff in a particular order, and so partly to say, look, what it isn't, so they say, well, it's not cancer, you haven't got a tumour in your brain, you haven't had a stroke, those sort of things really, and I guess that what they're left with, bearing in mind what I was presenting and I still do as symptoms, is you must therefore have dementia. And I think that's quite a lot of reasoning behind doctors giving you the diagnosis of dementias, because they see all these symptoms but they can't think of anything else it could possibly be, therefore it must be dementia. And then certainly in my case, that's how I felt my diagnosis was stumbled upon. Anyway, so there seems to be half a dozen main questions that you might have asked yourself, or people have asked you, certainly what is it? How long have you got left to live? The other thing is, what's the likelihood of you working, driving, but being responsible for bills, money, anything really, Did your mum have it? Did your dad have it? Is there anything, recollection of it in the family? What made you go to the doctors in the first place? Did you just simply have a bad lifestyle? Yeah, that's partly to do with it, but I'll explain that later. Or were you in sports like rugby, football, doing lots of heading the ball or something stupid like that? And even simple things like, did you fall on your head when you was a child in school, slip off the trapezium bars or something? And also they ask you, is there a cure? At present today, no. This is, I can't remember what month it is, May, June, whenever, 2027, 6, 7, something like that. Anyway, so it's the 2020s, somewhere along the line, and know if there's a cure or if there's some sort of inoculation, so that if you were to get it, can they take it away from you? No. There are, however, things that will slow it down, I would say, but the main thing to keep it out of your system as long as is possible is the lifestyle changes. And I'm positive that my own positive attitude has slowed mine down in itself. I do take medication, which again I'll explain later. So in video 1, I'm going to explain to you all the different dementias, I see is understand with all my research and stuff as to what they do, and what they're likely to happen to you. Not definite, but what they might happen to you, and also what was the other thing? Medication and things like that. And then as the further videos go through the line, I think there's 4 or 5 we've planned at the moment. So we'll discuss things like help that you can get, or your financial help and places to go for that. Things you can do, to keep occupied and keep busy, because we all lost our purpose because we can't drive, we can't go to work probably, most of us. We can't do this, we can't do that, there's all sorts of shit we can't do. So we have to replace the empty minutes with something else, So I'll tell you what I did, and maybe you can take some inspiration, I think you know the word, from what I did, but also mainly to get a purpose back. Maybe that I took the route of going into research and study of the disease which I have, because I'm like the perfect specimen, if you like, because I'm the perfect help on some of these things, because I actually got it. What does it feel like, John? You know, and when I visit the schools, I get children 8, 9 years old to stick their hands up and say, "Are you happy now? You've got dementia, John. When you're going to die, John?" And all questions like that. Well, you know, who wipes your bottom now? Your brain stopped. Like, anyway, so I'll tell you the answers as well to those as we go along. But I hope you can join us in the series. I'll try and get them out as fast as quick as I can. I have wrote them all down, but it's just filming, like, you know, and finding a nice sunny day, I suppose. See you later. So in answer to the question, you know, who wipes your bottom now? Well, no. I can still find the loo, lift the lid properly, aim my wee properly, drop a log if I need to. I can find me ring piece to wipe it properly, so I'm all good with that just at the moment. Thanks. And I didn't use those exact words obviously in the classroom, but words to that effect. I just told them that yeah, I'm still okay to do that myself. But there are things that I can't do, you know. I might still have the skills to maybe build some things or fix, you know, the grandkids' toys or things like that, but I don't have the logistics up here anymore. My spreadsheet, my daily spreadsheet is completely gone. By that I mean I don't have a calendar, or I don't have a diary in my head anymore. My wife does all that for me. So, but as things disappear from me, so then we adapt, you know. Bryony takes on a lot of things, I know, my wife, or we use tech, you know, to replace it with. So there are solutions, like, you know, and I'll tell you all about my solutions, how I've overcome certain things in my journey, and there's countless others as well, you know. When I visit the schools, we set them a challenge, like as a sort of a project, really. How can we help John in his, because he forgets things, like, you know, or taking medicines and anything really. It all helps. So there is a collateral sort of positive to my own dementia, which I'm very happy about. But it's just attitude, really, you know. Do you mope about and think about it and just like roll up in a ball and sit in bed and wait for a few years until God comes and gets you, or do something with those few years? Okay, so you've got less capacity, but anyway, I'll be talking all about that. You're getting a general gist of the way I'm going to be approaching my own dementia, and hopefully maybe I can give you, some of you guys, some you know, some coaching or anything really, just to help you make something of whatever days we all got left, like, you know, to be better, and also to make them very useful by helping future generations. There's no cure that's going to help us, you know. We have to all hold our hands up and just accept that. There's nothing you can do about that. Like, we have to accept the sun comes up every day and it goes down at night, and then sometimes the moon comes out. Like, we just accept that, you know. And we have to accept it. If we got a diagnosis of dementia, there are things we can do with it, but there's nothing we can do about it. Like, you know. God bless you anyway, and I'll see you in episode 1 hopefully. Bye.